Thanks, Swami, for having given me this opportunity to share few thoughts on the subject. My friends, I sincerely believe that those of us who are here from Far East countries and the countries having sizable number of Buddhists there should take up this challenge of encouraging researchers to go into the depth of the philosophy of Buddha and his teachings and make a comparative study with the life and mission of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. In fact, there are umpteen number of parallels between the two, and this presentation is a humble, simple sample in the same direction. Because Bhagwan Baba's is not a religion. Bhagwan Baba touches the spirituality and it's not the religion. And the spirituality that unifies people on principle of love. It's the religion that divides us because of the rituals. It's very necessary to make a comparative study. The topic could be Bhagwan Buddha and Bhagwan Baba. The beginning, what Swami says about it. Srungaramulu veru bangaramukate. The jewels are many, but gold is one. Pashula vanelu veru palu okkate. The cows are different, but the milk is one. Vastra bhedamulu veru daramokkate. The cloth may be different, but the yarn is one and the same. Darshanambulu veru daivamokkate. Paths are many, but the divine is the same goal. Jiva jatulu veru janmamokate. Beings are many, but the life is one. Therefore, Rupa namamulu veru narayanukade. The forms and names may be different, but God is one. So basing on this principle of oneness, we need to make a comparative study. Matamulanni yucheri manchine bodhinche. All religions teach only good things. No religion wants you to kill anybody. No religion wants you to hurt anybody. No. All religions teach noble principles only. Matamulanni yucheri manchine bodhinche. Telisi melagavalayu telivitoda. Telisi melagavalayu telivitoda. We have to conduct ourselves with all the intelligence and the sense of discrimination. Matulu manchidaina, matamedi cheddadi. If our minds are good, if our thinking process is good enough, which religion is bad? Vinudu Bharatiya Virasutuda. Therefore, all religions teach good things only, and we have to understand its basic unity in this diversity or plurality or multiplicity, and try to understand the oneness of the Spirit. Now, coming to certain points that are quite parallel between the two, Bhagwan Baba and Bhagwan Buddha, the first and the foremost is this. Right from the childhood, Bhagwan Baba is against violence, as you know. He never wanted anybody to kill. He is against non-vegetarian food. And in fact, he wanted people to walk across the sand in those days while they were coming in bullock carts to reach Nilayam. Bhagwan Baba is against the violence. Bhagwan Buddha is a very personification of non-violence, the very epitome of non-violence, the very metaphor of non-violence. Is an ahimsa jyoti. While Bhagwan Buddha was passing by, he saw children playing with the crabs, pulling different parts of the body, hurting them. And Buddha stands there and tells them, don't hurt them. Supposing I pull your hand, I pull your leg, how do you feel? The crab also feels like that. Further, Buddha says, it is our duty to protect life, ensure security to all the living creatures. Bhagwan Baba, through books, threw away books, as you read in biography, telling his brother and members of the family, I have nothing to do with you. I have nothing to do with family, no relationship whatsoever. My devotees are waiting for me. That's how Baba came out of his brother's house, as you read in his biography. Understand that I am Sai. I have no more relationship with you, no more connection with you, no attachment. Kadu nan patta yettu ghanunikaina. No mighty person, no great man, any scientist can make an attempt to know me. It is impossible to know me. That's what Baba said. And the same thing, Shuddhodhana, the father of Bhagavan Buddha, the king Shuddhodhana, comes to Lord Buddha and tells him, Siddhartha then, not yet Buddha, look here, my son, I'm aged. I'm not as efficient as before. The body is weak now. Why don't you take the responsibility of this kingdom? Why don't you rule this kingdom? You are the legal heir. Come on, you take the responsibility. Request the father. And Bhagavan Buddha tells this way, I am no longer your son. I don't belong to your family. I don't belong to a particular country or clan. I belong to the family of human beings. All countries are mine. My home is Mother Earth, declares Bhagavan Buddha. If we want to understand any religious scripture, no matter whichever religion it is, no matter however tough it is, if we go through Sai literature, any book could be understood easily. Any scripture can be comprehended easily within no time. Here, let me tell you, my friends, there is one devotee, Sariputta. Sariputta is the follower of Bhagavan Buddha. And Bhagavan Buddha was sitting under the tree, Nimba Vruksha, neem tree. And then Sariputta, his devotee, disciple, and other disciples are there. And Sariputta puts this question to Buddha. Swami, we find recitation here. People memorize sutras. People get them by heart and repeat incessantly. Is it good enough for the posterity? Is it good enough for coming generations? Will it ensure spiritual life? That's the question put by Sariputta to Bhagavan Buddha. Here he replies Bhagavan Buddha, certainly not. Certainly not. Recitation will not help you. Mere scripture reading will not help you. Mere recollection or memorization will not help you unless you translate them into your own life. Unless you understand the depth of it and act upon it, practice it, well, the mere rendition is of no value. There is another disciple of Buddha by name Alara. And so Buddha speaks to Alara, the disciple. Look here. You cannot get wisdom. You cannot get enlightenment by scholarship or knowledge. It is impossible to get enlightenment. Why? Because in the arguments, your excellence in your articulation is relieved, but not the depth of your experience. After all, by reading and reading and reading, you may be excellent in your arguments. You may be excellent in your presentation, but you will never get total knowledge. After all, by reading and reading, acquisition of knowledge and the facts, you are going to end up in your life in all emptiness. This education, the knowledge that we acquire, should take us to a state of deathlessness, to the state of immortality, says Bhagavan Baba. There is a forest, Rakhita forest, that Bhagavan Buddha used to visit regularly. There is an elephant there. Yes. That elephant collects flowers, garlands Buddha, and then offers fruits to Bhagavan Buddha. Are we not reminded of Sai Gita that used to garland Baba every time? Yes, that's what I find there. I should also tell you another thing. There is another man, a very rich man, Sudatta. Sudatta is a merchant. Lot of money. And he settled in Magadha kingdom, full of palaces and gold and whatnot. And he comes to Buddha. Swami, why don't you come and stay there in palace? Why don't you give your discourses to people? There is enough of space here. All people could be easily accommodated. Why don't you come and give your talks? Then Buddha says, I don't need palaces, I need people. I don't like that atmosphere. No, that's what Buddha says. Another thing, the only eligibility to be close to Bhagavan, to call one's own self as the devotee of Bhagavan, only a qualification. That has got nothing to do with the caste, creed, nationality, gender, property, income tax, sales tax, nothing doing. The only qualification that is required is sincerity, intelligence. Sincerity and intelligence. Sunita is an untouchable in those days. Bhagavan Buddha gave him the sacred teaching. Within 3 months, he equaled the number 1 class of devotees. That's what he is. And then Buddha says, what is the caste? What is the community? The blood is red in everybody. Blood is not after a different color in somebody. The taste of the tears is salty everywhere. కళ్ళనీళ్ళని ఉప్పగానే ఉంటాయి, రక్తం అంతా ఎర్రగానే ఉంటుంది. ఏంటయ్యా జాతులు కులాలు అంటాడు బుద్ధుడు. చెప్తే ఇక్కడ ఒక మాట అంటున్నాడు, చాలా గొప్ప మాట. Buddha says, it is not the caste that pollutes you. Don't go by the words like casteism or untouchability. No. What is that pollutes you is greed, hatred, and delusion. No consideration, Swami. Yes, he loves all. The eligibility is your yearning or interest to get that spiritual awareness, awakening, and that spiritual knowledge. Then another point, young man comes there to Buddha. Swami, I want teaching. And Buddha starts teaching him. There are some senior people. They say, what, Swami, what is it? He's a young fellow. Why do you teach him all these things? Let him complete his studies, let him get married, beget children, and then he'll learn the lesson out in his life. When you can teach him, which will be of no value then. ఎందుకే స్వామి చిన్నవాళ్ళందరూ కూడా వేదాంతం చెప్తానంటావు, వాళ్ళకి వయసు ఉండక్కర్లేదా అని అంటారు బుద్ధుడితోటి. Why do you teach youngsters? You find Swami talking to students here. You find Swami talking to primary school children. You see Swami organizing summer classes for college students and university students for 1 full month on Indian culture and spirituality. This kind of awareness, patriotism, fervor, the spiritual commitment, that are the values taught by Bhagavan during the summer course to youngsters, all young people. That Bhagavan Buddha did then. People asked him, why all this? Then Buddha says, 3 things you should be careful. Prince may be young, but he is going to be the future king. You cannot dismiss him because he is a young man. Snake may be small. You cannot overrule it. It may bite you and you may die. And you cannot ignore spark of the fire. That spark of the fire will burn the whole of the forest to ashes. Then there is another devotee by name Nanda. Senior man, married man. For 3 to 4 days he could hear the discourses of Buddha. 5th day he was absent-minded. The reason of which best known to us. Then Buddha looks deep into his eye. Nanda, do you miss Kalyani? Kalyani is his wife. And then tells, understand this, Nanda, that attachment towards your wife is the barrier. Please know that beauty of Kalyani will fade out in due course of time. You find 2 monkeys jumping, and one monkey thinks that other monkey is very beautiful. And that monkey thinks this monkey is beautiful. But both are equally monkeys, you know. This young lady with all her glamour, with all her beauty, she's going to be old tomorrow. What is there after all? Now coming to Baba, looking at people, what does he say? Middle-aged people. Evra, wife, yeme. Or who is wife? Immediately they blush. అవును వైఫే లైఫ్ రా మీకు. ఆ వైఫే రేపు నైఫ్ అయితే నా దగ్గరికి వస్తారు మీరు. ఎస్, యూ వాంట్ వైఫ్, యువర్ వైఫ్ ఈజ్ యువర్ లైఫ్. Tomorrow when the wife becomes a knife, you'll come to me tomorrow. And you know who is the wife? WIFE, worry invited forever. Worry invited forever. That's the teaching of Baba. That's what Buddha told Nanda, referring to his wife, Kalyani. Then comes the last moments of Shuddhodhana, the father of Bhagavan Buddha. As the end approached, he lies on bed. And Buddha, accompanied by other disciples, Anuruddha, Ananda, Nanda, Rahula, with other disciples, he comes to his father. And then, now Shuddhodhana tells, look here, my son, you have opened my eyes. I have known the impermanence of this world. Now I have known what happiness is. True happiness lies in union with God. True happiness lies in union with God. That's what Swami tells us. Then there comes a lady of those days by name Ambapali. Ambapali, she comes to Buddha. Well, she is so busy and she was the beauty of those days. And then Bhagavan Buddha tells her, what is all this? Name, fame, beauty, youth will never last for long. About solitude, some people in the name of religion, they think, I don't come out of my room. I stay here in my room. Let me be alone. This is solitude. This is religion. That's what they think. You are mistaken, says Buddha. Buddha clearly says, you need the support and friends. Solitude does not mean running away from the family responsibility. Getting in the forest, it is not life at all. Manasanandu tuchha vanchalu vidute chagamagunu, adi yogamagunu. The true solitude, the true spirit of sacrifice lies in giving up one's own weaknesses and the evil qualities. That's what Bhagavan says. Meghi ane maraka శిష్యుడు నాడు భగవాన్ బుద్ధుడికి కలిక పర్వతములు ఉన్నవి. ఆ కలిక పర్వతములకు శిష్యులతో వెళ్ళేవాడు బుద్ధుడు. భగవాన్ goes to Kodaikanal, Ooty, with a number of people. Buddha is accompanied by 400 people in those days. 400 devotees wherever he went. As I read Buddha's life and message, naturally I feel something like cassette replay. As if I see Swami in action. That's what it is. అక్కడ చూడండి, మేఘి అనే వానితో కాళికా పర్వతముల అంటున్నాడు. This message of Buddha to his disciples when he took them to retreat to a mountain area by name Kalika, he tells it. These are fundamentals which are required for every spiritual aspirant. What are the fundamentals? What are the basic needs for a spiritual aspirant? ఏమయ్యా ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధకునికి కావాల్సింది ఏది? స్వామి చెప్తున్నాడు, బుద్ధుడు, సత్సంగము, గుడ్ కంపెనీ ఈజ్ వెరీ మచ్ నెసెసరీ. గుడ్ కంపెనీ, Swami puts it in a higher level, higher potency. Seek the good company, run away from the bad company. Run away from the bad company. Bhaja sadhu samagamam, cheja durjana samsargam. Give up, run away from the bad company, that's what it says. Good company is the first fundamental requirement according to Bhagavan Buddha and Swami. Satsangamu sadhakunaku pradhana avashyakata అని తెలియజేస్తాడు. Number 2, Buddha always says you should have that mindfulness to keep in memory the precepts of that particular faith you belong to, the teachings of your own divine master. ఏ గురువు యొక్క ఉపదేశములు నీవు పొంది ఉన్నావో, ఏ గురువు యొక్క ఆదేశములు కలిగి ఉన్నావో వాటిపైన లక్ష్యము కలిగి ఉండాలి. దాని బాబా గారు చెప్తారు, గురి ఉంటే అతడే గురువు అవుతాడు అన్నాడు. ఎవరయ్యా గురువు? ఎవరిపైనైతే నీ గురి ఉన్నదో అతడే గురువు. యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ కాన్సన్ట్రేషన్ ఆన్ దట్. The third requirement, బుద్ధుడు చెప్తున్నాడు, సద్గ్రంథ పఠన, regular reading of the scriptures, regular reading of Sai literature, which is mostly necessary. As I pleaded with you earlier, reading of Sai literature in depth is more needed today than ever before. We should widely share, publicize with everybody all over the world the universality, the Catholicity, the unity, the oneness of the principle of divinity of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba to the whole world. Understanding, that's what Buddha says, the fourth requirement. Understanding of the scripture. Swami explained such a way that it is easily understood. భాష్యార్థ గుప్తములు పలుకు కొరకు యుగధర్మ పద్ధతులు వికలితమయ్యుండ భాష్యార్థ గుప్తములు పలుకు కొరకు. When there is misinterpretation of all the spiritual dicta, of the spiritual teachings, Swami brings to our attention the depth and the inner meaning of these things. And then Anuruddha, Nandiya, Kimbila వంటి శిష్యులతో ఒక ఆశ్రమంలో మనం ఎలా బ్రతకాలి, హౌ టు లివ్ ఇన్ ఆశ్రమం లైక్ ప్రశాంతి నిలయం. బాబా ఒక మాట అన్నారు, శ్రమ లేనిదే ఆశ్రమం అన్నారు. శ్రమ లేనిదే ఆశ్రమం. శ్రమ మీనింగ్ స్ట్రెయిన్, శ్రమ మీనింగ్ స్ట్రెస్, శ్రమ మీనింగ్ ఎగ్జర్షన్. The place where there is no strain, there is no stress, there is no exertion, that is ashrama. That's what Baba defined. We should also live up to the expectations and teachings of Bhagavan. And third point, Buddhudu cheppina maatalu ivanni kudanu. In an ashram, we should not use words that hurt anybody. Certainly not. You should avoid such words. Whatever you speak should bring in harmony among people. Then Buddha says in ashram, it is necessary sharing insights and understanding together. Insights and understanding together. And Buddha said, the one thing that's important in Buddhism is to sanctify, to purify, to make our senses sacred. పంచేంద్రియములు పవిత్రము గావించుకొనుట భగవాన్ బుద్ధుని యొక్క ప్రథమ సూక్తి. అండ్ స్వామి తమ యొక్క దివ్య సందేశంలో మనకు అందించి ఉన్నారు. టు ప్యూరిఫై ద సెన్సెస్, టు సాంక్టిఫై దెమ్. Swami made it simple, very easy. You see, it's very interesting to meet Swami. Swami's spirituality is very difficult. Who said it is difficult? Very easy, he will say that. Spirituality, very easy. Because it is his property, his philosophy, his spirituality, and he can make it in the simplest way ever possible. All philosophy of Bhagavan Buddha is summed up by Bhagavan in a nutshell. It begins with samyak drishti, good looks, good vision. And Swami says, the good looks and good vision, ఎప్పుడైతే నీకు మంచి చూపులు సమ్యక్ దృష్టి ఉన్నదో నీ హృదయంలో సమ్యక్ భావములు వస్తాయి. దట్ గుడ్ లుక్స్, good vision, samyak drishti will help you to develop good feelings in your heart. This samyak bhava will help you to speak in a sweet way, soft way, samyak vak, the good talk, samyak vak. And this samyak vak, good word, will help you to take the good action, samyak karma. And this all together, samyak drishti, samyak bhava, samyak vak, samyak karma is a package what samyak sadhana is. Who can simplify like that? Only Swami can do it. Netrame shastramo. The essence of the text is contained within your vision, the way how you look at things. Etti drishtiyo atti srushti. As you look at it, yes, things appear in that manner. That's what Swami says. And then Buddha's name Siddhartha. Siddhartha meaning the one who attained goal. And in fact it was called Gautama because his foster mother Gautami. And he is Buddha. Buddha is attainment. Actually, look at Swami's interpretation. Really, we feel excited and thrilled about it. There are three dictums that you often repeat. What do you say? The first one, Buddham saranam gacchami, Dharmam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. 3 levels. The first one, Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Swami explains simple way. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Surrender to the intellect. Surrender to your intellect, not to the intelligence. Intelligence is cunning. Intelligence is manipulating. Intelligence is maneuvering. Intelligence is political. So it's not the intelligence you are supposed to follow. You are supposed to follow intellect, which is intuitive, which is divine, which is spiritual. The one who follows the mind will be worse than an animal. The one who follows the intellect, he'll be divine. Why should you follow the intellect? Swami gives simple example. Sun, sunlight, window, room. Room is the body. Window is the mind. Light is the intellect. Sun is consciousness or spirit. Consciousness or spirit is the sun. The sunlight is the intellect that gets into you through the window of your mind and then gets into your body, the abode. It is intellect which is very close to Atma, the consciousness, what you call. Therefore, Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Surrender to that buddhi. Surrender to the intellect, because it will take you closer and closer to the divinity, to that consciousness. Second, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami. Dharayatiti dharma. Swami's interpretation is this. Dharma is the code of conduct. Dharma is the way of life. And Swami says it always. Animals follow their life. Plants have got their feeling, their own way of life. Human being follows the code of an animal. Therefore, we need education in human values. Animals don't need education in animal values. Plants don't need any education because they are there as animals and plants. But human being is not like that. He needs to be reminded that he is a human being. And it's in this connection, Swami speaks of all these things. Dharmam. It is your duty to lead the life of an ideal human being. Who is a human being? Who is a human being? Persona. As Swami says, persona meaning sacred. Manava, human being. Maya, illusion. Date, who will cross. Va, vartinsuta. The one who goes across this illusion and conducts himself is Manava. Why don't we read them? Why don't we enjoy them? That's what I say. So lead the life of a true human being. Yes, that is dharma. Having cultivated this manava dharma, the human values, what should you do? Sangham saranam gacchami. Get into the service society. Serve them. Therefore, vyashti the individual, samishti the community, parameshti the divinity, the three levels. That's what we mean by Sangham Saranam Gacchami, Dharmam Saranam Gacchami, Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Therefore, understand the divinity and the purity, make use of it in the community. Finally, Buddha says, life is full of suffering. Every event is painful. Life is sarvam dukkham. In one of the discourses, Swami said, క్షణికమైనటువంటి జీవితమునందు ఈ యొక్క భౌతిక ప్రపంచమునందు ఇంద్రియములతో కూడుకున్న జీవనమునందు ఈ జీవితం అంతా కూడా ఒక నవ లాంటిది అన్నారు. This life of senses, the whole life is like nava, he said. It is the first time I heard that word. That nava is the word used in this area, Rayalasima. I didn't follow. Then I had to put a question mark. Swami, what is this nava? Then he said, itching ayya. It is itching. So it's nothing but itching sensation. After all, what is this life? It is full of suffering, as Bhagavan said. Desire is the cause of suffering. That's what Buddha said. Desire is the cause of suffering. The one without desire, man minus desire is divine. Man minus desire is divine. That's what Swami puts in simple way, less luggage, more comfort, make travel a pleasure. Therefore, Buddha's teachings are put in the simplest form ever. Then how to be free from this suffering? Swami, Buddha gives his reply. Wisdom, awareness of the self. We are mighty happy to have you all here, brothers. May Bhagavan bless you. May Bhagavan bless you. Bhagavan Buddha be with you forever and evermore. Thank you.